Okay, there we go. Okay, so sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm not the most technically sound person out there, but I am working on it. So, anyway, so I'm doing a training today on the number one mistake you're making when trying to rebuild trust and connection in a relationship. But before I get started, I just want to connect to everybody that is watching this live or on replay. That's what we do, that's what we teach. And I just want to take a couple seconds to take some deep breaths and really just focus in to the present moment so that we can get the most out of this training. You can feel more connected to me. I can feel more connected to you, even though we're through a screen. So just to do that, all we got to do is breathe. So we're going to take a couple deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and really just set the intention to be present and absorb all the information that is about to be presented to you. So you can close your eyes if you want to, if that feels more comfortable, but I'm going to start taking just a couple deep breaths. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So welcome everybody. Um, if you're here live, give me a hashtag live in the chat. If you're here watching on a replay, give me a hashtag replay so I can know who's watching live and who's watching on the replay. Just helps me with some of my data. Okay, so I'm doing a training today. Who is this training for? This training is for married couples that are looking to reconnect. Maybe that they've been feeling really stuck and disconnected. Maybe they've been having issues for some months, maybe going on some years, and they just don't know how to get unstuck. They don't know how to feel connected again. Maybe they're feeling unsafe in some type of way. This is for you. So, this training is about rebuilding trust and connection in a relationship. So, how are we going to do that? On today's agenda, we're going to be going over the number one mistake you're making when trying to rebuild trust and connection in your relationship. We're also going to be going over how to rebuild trust once it has been broken or frayed. And we're also going to go over how to save your marriage, keep your family together without spending years in therapy or counseling. And stick around. If you stick around to the end of this video, I'll send you a free practice that Hunter and I created that helps connect you to your partner in 5 minutes or less. Imagine that. It is that quick. Okay, so who are we? Why are you here? Why are you listening to me? We are the connection coaches. My name is Alberto. My wonderful fiance and partner in all things, Hunter, is the other half of the connection coaches. We help couples avoid divorce and separation and have the intimate and connected relationship of their dreams. Here's a quick, so just about that, we got together and pretty early on in our relationship, Hunter said to me, "We're going to be relationship coaches." And I was like, no way. We both had our own small businesses at the time in holistic healing, women's empowerment. We're going to get into that a little bit later too, and when we go over our backstory. But we got together and she said, "We're going to be relationship coaches. We have so much to teach." And I was like, no way. And it turns out that she was completely right. Within a few months, I was like, you are spot on. We have to teach and share this. So we're going to just show you a quick little testimonial from one of our clients. Okay, that was just one of our client success stories I felt called to share with you guys. Okay, so we're gonna get into it now. We're gonna get into it. The number one mistake. What is it? What is the number one mistake that most people are making when trying to rebuild trust and connection in a relationship? What do you think it is? Do you think it's trying harder? Do you think it's uh, you know, talking it out all the time? Do you think it's getting all the gifts? Do you think it's doing all the chores that need to be done so that you feel your partner is going to love you more? No, it's none of those things. The number one mistake is that people are so focused on all the problems in the relationship that you forget about the connection and you never get to the roots of your own individual issues. So I'm going to expand on that. A relationship is a container with two individuals together that have all their previous life experiences, past traumas, past hurts, past relationships, all these different experiences that culminate into who you are. And a lot of the times we go through things like, early childhood trauma or abusive relationships, or we've been cheated on, or we've just not had a great, household growing up. Maybe it didn't feel super safe. And all these things create trauma. They create resistance to connection sometimes. And when it comes to relationships, a lot of the times people don't realize that they project their own issues, if it's not dealt with, whatever it may be. There's lots of different root causes, and that's what we help find. But if you never actually have the awareness of what is causing the breakdowns in communication or connection or intimacy, and from that place of disconnect, you're trying to talk things out, you're trying to figure out how to, get on the same page as your partner, it's really hard to when you're feeling disconnected already. Because if you never get to the root of your issues, you will continue to repeat the patterns of the disconnect, the patterns of ineffective arguing and blaming each other for whatever it may be, breakdowns in communication, the lack of intimacy, the lack of trust, until the relationship falls apart. So just want to talk about that a little bit, because a lot of the times we found when we work with couples is that there's very few issues in the relationship itself. It usually stems from the relationship with yourself and how that's being projected into the relationship. If someone doesn't feel safe, if the woman in the partnership doesn't feel safe because she's maybe never felt safe because of someone that cheated on her or verbally abused her, or she didn't feel safe growing up as a child, it's really hard for her to feel safe with anybody. That's the root issue. Or maybe the man has, been cheated on and he just doesn't trust women. Well, how hard is it to trust somebody when you don't trust anybody? How hard is it to build trust in a relationship when you don't trust to begin with? The root issues stem way further back than most people really think and have an awareness of. So that is what we teach. That's what we help people find. We help people dig. We dig and see, this is the roots right here. It's not so much that you guys keep arguing together and you can't seem to figure it out. It's that you're not feeling connected and you're arguing from that place, and you're never going to get to a place of a compromise when you don't feel connected. You're just going to continue arguing, continue fighting, continue building resentment, continue building disconnection, continue hurting your intimate life because one or both of you is feeling emotionally unsafe. These are the roots. What is it costing you? What is that costing you? The cost of feeling disconnection and not knowing the roots of your issues causes time, How much time do you spend arguing? How much time do you spend feeling alone? How much time do you spend stressing out about all the issues in the relationship, which definitely is affecting your happiness? How much energy do you put into trying to work things out, to figure things out? How much energy do you put into making more money to buy more things because you think the grand gestures is what's going to solve the issues? Material things are never going to solve internal issues. It costs you your peace of mind because you're always in a constant state of stress. Your nervous system is constantly in fight or flight or freeze. And it's costing you a piece of your heart because this sacred relationship, this sacred container isn't where you want it to be. And you feel that in your heart. You truly do. And it hurts your heart every time that you try to do something right and it doesn't get seen or heard because you're feeling disconnected. And that's okay. It's something that we can always work on. But it's costing you a lot. Time, energy, money. It's costing you happiness. It might be even causing you some things that you're not even aware of. The continual cycles of arguments and blame and shame and resentment are costing you much more than just time and money. When you're continually in a state of fight or flight or freeze, your stress is messed up. The way you're showing up in work is stressed up. Or messed up. The way that you're communicating with maybe not even just your partner, your kids, your family is affected. You're having less intimacy, less sex, less pleasure, less joy because you're in a continual state of disconnection and your nervous system is in a state of fight or flight or freeze. It's a really tough place to be all the time. It's going to affect the way that you parent. It's going to affect the way that you show up and you do your job. And it's going to affect the way you try to communicate and have the hard conversations and the good conversations. So I want to do a quick case study from some clients of ours, Jessica and John. They were in a continual state of disconnect and avoidance and being triggered for years and years, still going through therapy to try to figure this out. But they got to a point where they were living in separate houses. Divorce papers were drafted and they came to us. They saw what we were posting online. They felt really drawn to it and they came to us and we brought them together. We taught them how to connect with each other. And in 4 hours, we did a connection ceremony with them. In 4 hours, it shifted so much that they moved back in with each other, started communicating better, and got back to the honeymoon phase because they felt connected. And we helped them, coach them through what they needed to do to move through some of the harder things. But you gotta start with the connection. So what do you need to be doing to feel more connected, to be committed to having the relationship you've been dreaming of, that intimate connection, that effortless communication, that juicy intimacy? What do you need to do? You need to cultivate conscious connection. That's the answer. That's how you get from feeling like you need to leave this relationship and the divorce papers are drafted to feeling back into the honeymoon phase. You need to cultivate connection. So a little bit about us. I was talking about this earlier. I want to talk a little bit about us. Hunter and I come from backgrounds in coaching, trauma release, holistic healing, plant-based medicines, energy healing, mysticism, tantra, educational speaking, and ceremonial facilitation, with almost 20 years combined between the two of us. We've been speaking and educating and coaching for a long time. And we come from this place because we have gone through it all. We have gone through extremely traumatic situations that left us with PTSD and trauma and depression and anxiety. and how that affected our minds and the way that we showed up and connected and communicated with our romantic partners, with our families, with our children, with our friends, with our coworkers, with anybody. And we have learned through experiencing the full spectrum of emotions from the worst to the absolute best, what works and what does not. That's how we developed our program. We put all the things together that we have learned, been taught, experienced, gone through, and we put it all together in a program that touches on the most important pieces of everything and letting go and releasing all the things that no longer serve us. We've seen it. We've seen such massive shifts in ourselves. When I was younger, I had a hard time talking to people. I was a complete shell. Like I lost my father at 11 years old, and that left me with so much PTSD, depression, anxiety for years before I went to therapy. And anxiety. And that showed up in me failing in relationships over and over and over again because I was disconnected with myself. And it was really hard to connect to a partner when you yourself are feeling disconnected. Hunter has a wonderful, wonderful thing that we say, and it's a big, people say this all the time, that you can't love somebody until you love yourself, right? And then there is some truth into that, absolutely. But the inverse of that is that you cannot receive the love that your partner is giving you if you don't love yourself, that if you feel disconnected with yourself, you can't receive. You might be giving tons of love between each other, but it's not being felt or seen or heard because one of the people is disconnected, or both. And it can flop from one to the other, being disconnected from time to time. So all the things that you're doing, you're picking up the extra chores, you're helping out with the finances, or you're doing these dates and stuff, but it's not connecting, it's not landing because one of you is disconnected. And that's okay. We all go through it. We all go through trauma. We all go through hard times. We all pick up bad habits. The point of being guided and coached is to find those places of weakness and finding how to empower yourself to make it your strength. Your hardest times are going to be your greatest gifts if you can find that within yourself and you can find the lessons. So when you work with us to cultivate conscious connection, it's all about bringing back people to the understanding of who they are individually and who they are together, what they want individually and what they want together, and releasing all the things that they're not. You're not your trauma. You're not all those past hurts. You're not all those past failed relationships. That's not who you are. It's just an experience. You release the things that aren't you, and we help cultivate you to build a foundation for the most intentional and connected relationship possible. This is what we do. We help couples get unstuck. We help couples get reconnected. We help couples find their weak spots, the past traumas, the limiting beliefs, all the triggers that come from that and the way that shows up in how you communicate. And then we empower and guide you to reframe your individual mindset and your collective mindset as a team. We do this by teaching people how to have the hard conversations, how to set and honor boundaries, how to communicate effectively. We teach people all the practices that we have learned and taught on how to really have the most juicy and connected, intimate life. We give you all the tools, all the practices, all the techniques that will lead to a lifetime of deep and intentional connection if you so choose. Because that is a huge part of it. You have to choose it. You have to want it. We don't work with anybody because Not everybody wants it. Some people are going to let the relationship fail. That's okay. But if you really want it and you're feeling really stuck and you're just not sure how to get there, and you're so committed to yourself and you're so committed to your partner, like all the love is there, but you're just you're in a rut, you're stuck, you're feeling disconnected, and you're just not sure what else to try to get there, to get connected, to get the relationship of your dream. We're here to support and guide you and give you the accountability to get from where you are to where you want to be. We're not the traditional way of therapy or couples counseling or online courses or anything like that. We focus on the connection above all else, the connection between you and yourself, the connection between you and your partner, and the connection to us as coaches. It's all important. It's so important because without that connection, there's really no relationship, even with yourself. If you're not connected to yourself, you're not living who you really are to the fullest. Maybe you're operating from all the programs and conditioning that's been given to you from childhood, and you're feeling disconnected with yourself because you're like, this isn't me. So it's all about the connection, first and foremost. And then we give you all the tools, the techniques, the tips, the tricks. Therapy is beautiful. I recommend therapy to anybody that's been thinking about it. We got to reduce the stigma around that. I think it's a beautiful tool, but it can take a long time. And a lot of times people don't have that time. They're like at the end of their ropes when they come to us, and they don't have the time to go through the process of, number one, finding the right therapist, because that's so important. Finding the right one for you. Not every therapist is the fit for you. And to find the right one, it might take you 3, 5, 8 therapists. That can take a long time, and that's a lot of energy too. But I'm not saying don't do it. If you feel a call to it, do it. And couples counseling, we have people that come to us that have gone through couples counseling and therapy, and while they think they're the beautiful tools, it just didn't do it for them. Because a lot of the times there might not be the right facilitator for you. And it doesn't have the framework to cultivate more connections before getting into the hard stuff, the roots, and addressing all the issues. If you just come in right off the bat, firing off at each other, that's going to continue to build more resentment, anger, blame, shame, guilt. It's going to build all these things up. We're here to release all those things because we're connected, and then we're going to tackle all the things, because when you're connected, you can actually move through the hard times much, much, much easier. A lot of the times, especially when people come to us, like they just don't have the time to wait. They don't have the time to hope that they find the right counselor or the therapist and to fix the issues in the relationship. They need help. They need effective help. Maybe all the books they're reading isn't doing it. Maybe all the things they're watching online, all the Facebook reels, all the things, all these memes about relationships, there's greatness. There's great content out there, but it's missing a crucial piece, and that's connection. What is connection? It's feeling connected to yourself. It's feeling connected to your partner. Like there is a lifeline between you. Reading something online and then bringing it to your partner that's feeling disconnected doesn't breed connection. You got to start with getting on their level first, feeling like you guys are connected first. People need that. People need the quick and effective help, and that's exactly what we do. That's exactly what we provide. Ignoring the issues, just thinking it's going to get better on its own, doesn't work, never has worked, and it's never going to work. You will continue to repeat your patterns if you don't do something to become aware of them and disrupt them and reframe them. It's time. It's time to stop the cycle of blame and shame and guilt and resentment and disconnection with yourself and your partner. Because if you don't get to the roots, if you don't get to the root of what's causing you your issues individually and together, you're going to repeat the pattern. Your next relationship will be a reflection of your current one because you didn't address the root issues. You're still feeling disconnected. You're still feeling emotionally unsafe. And you get into another relationship, you're still going to feel emotionally unsafe, no matter how the other person acts. It has to come from within. It has to come from within. Don't wait. Don't wait another minute. Don't wait until the divorce papers are drafted. Don't wait another day of feeling disconnected from yourself. Don't wait until you're sleeping in different rooms. Don't wait until the other person is so far gone and feeling so disconnected that they go and cheat on you because there's no intimacy. Don't wait. Waiting doesn't do anything for anybody. You have to take action. Don't wait. Get the help. It's okay. It doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. We all need help. Anybody that says they've done it alone is full of shit because we've all had help along the way. We've all been taught. We've all been mentored. We've all been guided when we need it. And then when we got the tools, we run with it. It's on us. Boom. But if we're feeling unstuck and everything we're trying isn't working, maybe it's time to think about getting help. That's okay. There's no shame. There's no judgment about that. So if you're ready to get unstuck and you're ready to identify what your roots are, you're ready to be aware so that you can connect and communicate and be intimate with your spouse with ease. It's time. It is time to cultivate that conscious connection. So how do we have the relationship of your dreams without spending years in therapy or couples counseling, hoping to get the results you're looking for? And you're probably thinking to yourself, my marriage is already on the brink. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy to go to couples counseling, to try to find the right therapist, to try to read another book, to try to join another Facebook group, to try to talk about all my problems. How is this going to help me? How are you going to help me? How is this going to help me improve my relationship? It's going to take some time, but it doesn't take that much time. The truth is, you do have the time. You do have the time. Because if you have 1 to 2 to 3 hours a week over a whole week, you have the time. Do you have 5 to 15 minutes a day to connect to your partner? I think you can find 5 to 15 minutes instead of scrolling, instead of sharing memes, instead of watching TV or Netflix or doing whatever it is. You have the time. You just have to prioritize what's important to you. Is your most important relationship in your life worth 2 to 3 hours a week? We spend 40 hours a week at our job. We don't spend 40 hours a week putting it into our relationships and our marriages. Some do, but a lot don't. Where's your priorities at? Where's your head at? You say you want to fix your marriage, but you keep disconnecting. You keep scrolling. You keep trying to find all the reasons that it's wrong, all the problems, all the issues. You're so focused on the issues that you can't find the solutions. Because if you're focused on the issues, you're going to create more problems. You're going to keep talking about the problems. You're going to keep talking about the problems. You're telling me you don't have 2 to 3 hours a week to save this most important relationship, your marriage, your family, your children's futures? Like, how are they going to react if you're just divorced because you're feeling not connected when it could be solved? Not to mention the emotional toll of going through separation. I mean, we all know what it feels like to go through a hard separation. Doesn't feel good. So how do we do it? This is what we do. This is our pillars right here. We take everybody through this. We take everybody through the inner reset. This is where we talk about and identify your past traumas, your limiting beliefs, your triggers around relationships, around conversations around situations, and we help empower you to reframe all these negatives into your greatest positives, into your greatest strengths. From there, we focus on how to communicate effectively, conscious communication, how to have the hard conversations, how to set and honor your boundaries, how to get connected. Then we move into intentional intimacy. Through that, once you're feeling connected, once you're feeling like you can communicate well, it's time to bring the intention into the relationship. And intimacy doesn't just mean sex at all. Intimacy is, and I love this intimacy, into me you see. Intimacy. You're seeing each other. You're hearing each other. You're being with each other. But we do think that, the sex is very important. If you're not having consistent intimacy like that, there's some level of disconnect. And we're going to teach you how to have fun, how to bring the joy and pleasure. Like, that's the focus of our course. It's not to stay in all this hard stuff. We have to have an awareness of it. We have to have an awareness of the hard stuff, but we don't have to stay there. The key to the success is focusing on the joy, focusing on the pleasure. That's what people want. That's what you want. That's what your spouse wants. So why are we so focused on all the problems? And we give you the last thing is we give you the accountability. Every step of the way, we're there to guide you, give you support, to coach you, to identify the weak spots, to reframe them to your strengths, to tell you, like, hey, can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. That behavior is not what's going to do it for you. It's not always easy to hear the stuff, but we are here in love. It's not always easy. Sometimes you will get triggered. That's part of the process. That's part of growth. Nobody gets to where they want by staying in their comfort zone. So if you're in your comfort zone and you're feeling disconnected, it might be time. It might be time to step outside that thing and get help. Take the guesswork out of the equation and get the right support you need, and a step-by-step program that's customized to you and your relationship to fit your needs and to fit your schedule. We'll make the time work. We're here to make it work. Stop wasting time reading another self-help book, finding the right therapist or counselor, scrolling on social media, reading all these memes about what the best relationships is and conscious this and that and da-da-da. Get the laser targeted help your marriage needs from a couple, a man and a woman, the masculine and the feminine, that has gone through the darkness, the trauma, the issues, the breakdowns, individually and collectively in relationships. And we're here to show you the light at the end of the tunnel so that you can join us and the other couples that have gone through our program and saved our relationships, saved our marriages, have the relationship of their dreams, cultivating deep connection, lasting happiness. That's what this is about. It's about joy and love and happiness. That's what we all want. We all don't want to stay in this hardness. We don't want to stay in the trauma. We don't want to stay stuck. We want to get unstuck. We want to feel free. We want to feel love. We want to feel safe. We want to feel truth from ourselves and our partner. That's what this is all about. So that's it. That's it for today. That's my training on the number one issue people are making. You're not identifying the real roots of your issues, and you're not getting connected first when you're trying to move through the tough. So if you want me to send you a message on how we can help you and your spouse get reconnected, help you get unstuck, send connection in the chat or in the comment section, and I will send you a message personally and see if it's a good fit for us to work together. Because again, we don't work with just anybody. We work with people that are ready and willing and committed and hungry to do the work. If you're not ready to do the work, we'll find out. That's what our process is about. So if you're ready though, type connection in there. It's time. If you're feeling like this is resonating with you, if this feeling like this is connecting with some part of you, and you think that there's something that we can help you with, reach out. All it is a message. We're very, very genuine human beings, and no matter what, we give people value. If it's not us, we'll send you in the right direction. We're here to help, no matter what. So type in connection. If you want the bonus, that practice I was talking about in the beginning, comment practice in the chat or in the comment section. And I'll send you a free practice that Hunter and I created that we teach groups of people. We pop up in parks and teach this stuff. We teach this in our ceremonies, our couple ceremonies. We teach this to all of our clients. 5 minutes or less. That's all it takes to get connected. So if you want the practice, comment practice, and I will send you that in a message. I really appreciate your time and energy today. I hope you guys found some value in this training. We're going to be doing a lot more trainings coming up. This is about awareness. The first step is awareness. If you want to get aware of the weak spots, the things that are holding you back, the issues, the real issues, not just these surface level fighting and arguing and ineffective blaming and even the lack of intimacy is like, it's a surface level thing. There's deeper issues that need to be resolved so that everything comes back together. So that's what it's about. It's about awareness. I really appreciate everybody's time today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I look forward to doing more of this. I look forward to speaking to some of you and really helping people grow in love. That's what this is all about. It's time. So thank you. Till next time. Ciao.